Hey guys, John here. Go on ahead, do us a big favor before we actually start. Go over down to the iTunes section of the podcast and select Movie Lovers Tonight and rate us over there. Rate us also on Good Pods. Rate us also, of course, on Spotify as well. Anyways, I have Tomeka here from Two Blur Girls Podcast. I also have Charlie back in the house with me again, ready to rock out with some Batman The Dark Knight. So let's go on ahead. Let's do this. I'm excited. Let's go on ahead and talk about some Dark Knight here. So, without further ado, let's do it. And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. And of course, like I said, I have Tamika with me from Two Blue Girls Podcast and Charlie with me as well. And tonight we're actually going to be diving into The Dark Knight. This is the second movie out of the Christopher Nolan trilogy. This movie had a budget of $185 million. It made well over $1 billion at the box office. So that's a pretty good chunk of change. That just goes to show you how powerful this movie was. It was a movement in 2008, and it was also my top anticipated films of 2008. I also remember the controversy surrounding Heath Ledger being the Joker. And also, too, at that time, I was not. Here's the thing: whenever I found out about the controversy with Heath Ledger, I was not as dialed in to the movie news and stuff like that I am today. I was pretty much just an average film fan watching a Dark Knight film, but also, too, what made me sold on Heath Ledger and the look of the Joker was seeing that big, huge poster with him holding the Tommy gun and him in that suit and with the makeup on. I'm like, yes, this is the Joker that I want to see from Heath Ledger. I was sold on the look. I was not so much worried about how he was going to perform or anything like that, but I was just excited at the fact to go on ahead and see what Christopher Nolan has for us for the second film. But whenever the second film did come out, I saw this movie twice in theaters too. I saw this movie, I think I want to say maybe more than twice. I don't remember, but I do remember twice going and seeing this movie. But anyways, I'm going to let you guys go on ahead, open up the floor.
This movie was huge. This was 2008. And then again, 2008 was a big year for superhero movies because we got the first, kicked off in May. We got the start of the MCU in Iron Man. And there was a lot of controversy with that Downey Jr. So that movie did that well. I mean, and then Dark Knight came out. And the Dark Knight is to quote Ben Stiller's nephew from the little skit they did for Tropic Thunder when they're trying to do their press tour for Tropic Thunder. These Robert Downey Jr. is talking to the kids it's like, yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, my nephew saw Iron Man 5 times, thought it was a second comedy. So he's like, hey man, I saw you 5 times. He goes, yeah, I saw you liked Iron Man. He's like, yeah, it'll do. Till Dark Knight comes out, then you're screwed. And he goes, Christian Bale will kick your ass. So he was saying this to Robert Downey Jr. So anyway, yeah, this movie's huge. This movie made $218 million opening weekend. Wow. This was before everything else started surpassing it. This was the highest grossing movie for a while opening weekend. Nobody got close to making $218 million. And then this movie was just so popular, yet it also changed the game where now DC started to go dark. This movie is dark, and I think it had to go dark. It's just a lot darker than Batman Begins. So much so when you have the actors telling them, do not bring your kids to this movie. And the reason is Two-Face. Mm-hmm. That was the thing. I think that was the big question when I went to see this in 2008. What does he look like? How they did that, OMG, how they did that at that time in 2008. Again, like you said, John, Twitter wasn't a thing that I know of. I don't think social media wasn't a thing. So they're all you just hear is snippets here and there when they're talking about the news, but you don't hear about, there's not as much controversy as there is now. As much Ben Affleck was getting more controversy for being cast as Batman compared to
even Michael Keaton, for that matter, too, back in the 80s was getting controversy.
Yeah, but we didn't have social media to expedite that. I mean, and this movie changed the game. This is the movie that made everybody want to try to replicate it in some capacity. Nolan did such a good job with this movie. It was intense. It was brutal. You're not you're this is one of the movies like where you're not leaving your seat at all. And if you try to fall asleep, a loud like jump scare. I will admit when you see like just that one random moment of the one of the Batman replicas, him go swinging right into the hair, and then you hear the loud screech from Hans Zimmer like "Durr!" Like whoa.
Yeah, I remember that scene.
It makes you jump, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like just like the loud screech, it gets you. Like you're not falling asleep in this movie. Again, everybody was like, again, we were talking about it a little bit yesterday, and the one I wanted to give I thought it was really cool is when Bruce Wayne did push-ups in Batman Begins, when he just fell down, he started doing push-ups. I thought that was cool, but this one, everybody was top notch, besides Rachel, and that was the problem. She was so self-centered. All she cared about was herself. When she kept putting Bruce Wayne on the hook. He literally was on the hook for the whole time. And now I'm gonna marry Harvey Dent. He may not know you as much as I do, but it's just like I'm like, so I was like glad she wasn't in this as long, but the twist in it, like the sequence where them trying to go find Harvey Dent or save Rachel. I was at the edge of my seat on that whole sequence, like saying, is he gonna save Rachel? And then you find out he's at Harvey Dent's, and you just hear him scream, and then the loud kaboom. I was like, my eyes were like, no, they did not just do that. They want Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones was a thing. But yeah, this movie's so good. But go ahead, Tomeka.
No, I was just agreeing with majority of what you said. I don't know why Rachel was flatline. She flatlined worse than Katie Holmes. Yeah. The only the only like way that her performance was elevated was when she was being thrown out the window. And
let her go.
Batman had to save her. And I heard and I was like, whoa, that's great. Do more of those performances. But yeah I was thinking about, because I've seen Dark Knight countless times. I regret I didn't see it in theaters because I wasn't paying too much attention to these Nolan films until I saw Dark Knight, but it was on TV by then, I think. And I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And then I saw Dark Knight Rises in theaters. So I regret that I did not see this in theaters, because I know it would have made a huge impact. But I was thinking about the Joker in this film, because there was so much hype for me about Jack Nicholson, right? And that was my Joker. And then I saw Heath Ledger, and I was like, oh God, this guy was like a psychopath. But as I watch it more or seen it more times, I'm like, oh, okay, this is the proper way that the Joker is supposed to look. He's supposed to look like a psychopath. And then every time he talked to someone, his story changes for where he got his scars. And then every time he brought it up, like, you want to know how I got these scars? I was like, oh God. But the last story he told Rachel, that was moving. It was a lie, but it was a moving lie. Because he's like, my wife, she got cut up or whatever. And then I like just made scars on my face to make her feel better. And now she can't even look at me. I don't know why. I was like, oh, it's like an Oscar performance. Dang.
And now I smile all the time.
Yeah, I was like, dang, that's a good lie. I would have believed that.
I mean,
but,
yeah.
Go ahead, John.
But, I like the fact that they change up his story, because there's different iterations of the Joker. There's no true origin story of the Joker. Yeah. So he's going to lie his ass off, telling different stories to have that mythology about him, which is something that I really liked. I remember at work, my friends and I, the lab tech, the x-ray tech, and myself, we were crowded around a computer at work, because they said at a certain time that we were going to get a little sneak peek at the Joker's laugh, or the way that the Joker is going to be received. So we're crowded around the computer. We find the look of the Joker. We wind up hearing his laugh, and I love the laugh that he gives to the Joker. And then I'm thinking to myself, I was like, I wonder if we're going to get him dumped inside the chemicals like we did in 89 Batman. That's where my mind went. My mind didn't go into the realism aspect of it like I did with the first one. I'm like, okay, that was the first one. They're just doing the realistic thing, and they're going to go into the comic books later on. That's what I was thinking. But then once you get into the second film, you realize, okay, so they're going all out, balls to the wall with realism. So I'm like, okay, this is the universe that you're giving me. Okay, I'll erase the chemicals part and everything, and somebody that could actually do this. But I liked how he does it. It's a little subtle moments of how he does things, stuff like that too. The humor worked in it, and especially when we get first introduced to him at the jail. And the jail cell, well, not the jail, but the bank. When we first get introduced into the bank setting with the mob, it was like a mob bank. He goes, "Do you know who we're? Do you have any idea who you're robbing?" And he goes, "It's not about that," or something like that. He winds up saying, and then he ends up unveiling who he is, and because he keeps on making all the other people kill themselves, and finally we get to the reveal of the actual Joker, which is his henchmen keeps on killing their own selves, and telling the story of the Joker and who he is. I like the mythology around that part though too, and the introduction, and then on him blending in with the school buses at the perfect time whenever the school's about to be let out. That everything about this was precise with the Joker. Joker is actually smart. He's 10 steps ahead of Batman and everything too, especially the twist that Charlie said. But yeah, I thought he did a very, very good job, especially whenever he says, I'm gonna do a magic trick. Ta-da! And I'm like, I've just started busting out laughing in the movie theater. I was actually
I did remember that.
I was kind of shocked. I was like, "Oh my god!"
I was like, it was like a shocking laugh, and I was like, "Oh my god, he just did that!" And like, I think that was that moment I was sold on the Joker.
Dang.
This is my Joker. This is for me, Heath Ledger for me. I just love the way he looked, because I think the thing with Jack Nicholson, the face of his, like smile, that was really like, I mean, it was creepy. And yeah, it worked for a while, but as the movie progressed, when he still had it, it kind of like, it's kind of annoying. But I love the way that the smile shows up on Joker. So he's not smiling all the time, like, or his normal mouth isn't as deformed as it was, and like for the Nicholson one. And then, but I just love Heath Ledger's performance. Like, he went all out on this one. And the cool thing is that prologue, the opening sequence, if you bought the Blu-ray for Batman Begins, you got to see the prologue, which is like something like that's what Nolan's been able to do. Like for one of the movies I saw, I got to see the prologue for Tenet. Like, he does that for some of his IMAX movies. So being able to see the prologue, not from the theaters, but be able to see that at home is like, okay, it gets you a taste of what you're about to get, what ride you're about to go on. And but no, Heath was just fantastic. Like, love the pencil trick. I'm like, oh yeah, we're here for some new talent. So we need to do some tryouts. But you only take one of you. Make it fast. And he just walks in, he just leaves the pool stick where the three guys are beating up. And it's like the three different stories, all of them are believable. Like, every single one of them, like, this is the way he does it. Like, I think I love the like, or just like the whole why so serious when he does it to Michael J. White's face. And the thing is, it's so scary, you don't see it. So it's like you like, so like that's what Nolan like really, like, he's really at top notch in this one. Is like, there's not a lot of stuff you see of him killing people. Like, there's not, and you just hear the loud screech or the loud musical score screech. So your imaginary starts running at that. Like, but I mean, some of the ones are pretty obvious. Like the Asian guy, he burnt. He's sitting on top of the money in the warehouse. Joker just lit him up. You don't see him burning, but he's up there. You see the brief glimpse of up there, like him smacking him while he's on top of the money and then sliding down the money, and he's burning it. You don't see him scream. You don't hear that. You just know he's dead. He's on the fire, like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. He's on fire right there, but you don't see it. So there's a lot so that's the whole idea, and I think this is a lot of the imagery of Nolan. Like, he doesn't want you to see it; he wants you to start thinking, because his movies are like a lot of the stuff that he does is thought provoking. Like, what do you think? So he kind of wants to leave it up to the audience, and that's why I love Nolan movies, because I don't like ambiguous endings, but if you do it in a way that doesn't seem ambiguous, or it gets you thinking, where there's a lot of like Easter eggs here, there, or something you have to keep, like, so multiple viewings, and like this one, watch this multiple times, it still is good, but the camera work, the part I love the most is when Joker's falling. He's definitely upside down. They flip the camera where he's looking like he's like he's not upside down. He's straight up, and yet he's like, and you see the jacket fall backwards. How they shot that was like mind blowing, because like, and how they are able to maneuver the camera where you can see the Joker's having him in a face-to-face conversation, yet the Joker's really upside down. But when he's talking, the camera's facing them like he's straight up. Well, again, like how they filmed a lot of the stuff in this movie, mind blowing for 2008.
I found it interesting too, and I guess I didn't really think about it, in the opening scenes. Well, not opening scenes, but there were multiple Batman citizens, and I don't know why logically I didn't think, oh, people probably did that. People probably dressed up like him, and and were inspired, because when you look, that's your first introduction to Batman, and he's having a machine gun, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not Batman, is it? And then Scarecrow tells you that's not Batman, and you go, oh, okay, what's going on? And then another one comes up, you're like, whoa, what is this? And he's like, that's not Batman. And then, like you said, Charlie's Tumbler, I'm gonna call it Charlie's Tumbler. Charlie's Tumblers come out. He's like, there he goes. I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on here? And then they're all asking, like, oh, we're here to help you out. He's like, oh, needed help. He does stuff like
hockey pads.
Not wearing a hockey mask.
The guy literally has hockey pads on. Like, you literally see him like makeshift hockey pads, like, because it was like Batman's actually looks like actual abs. It was an actual suit. This was hot pads, and like Batman doesn't use guns.
No.
That's Catwoman. She uses guns.
I do like also. Sorry, John. I like also, like you were saying, John, in the beginning sequence, we're not really introduced to the Joker. He kind of is unveiled, and it reminds me of Undercover Boss. And I think all gangsters should do that. They should go undercover and then hear what people are saying. Who's this Joker guy? Oh no, he told me to kill you. What? And then you kill the guy, and then they're like basically offing each other. And then there's like, oh, do you know who this Joker guy is? And it's the Joker in just a mask, and he's like, he's crazy. I heard he's this. I heard he's that. It's like all this speculation around who he is
with them
before you can see them. Yeah, before you can see who he is, there's this speculation, and that's why, to me, I don't know how many times I've seen this movie, but now I'm seeing the Joker as like a psychologist, like he's studying human behavior. Yes, he's crazy, but he's smart. He can study human behavior, and he knows the behavior of humans, that you give them a choice, they're going to take a choice, or if something isn't, if they don't know who a person is and they just hear about a myth or a legend about this person, they make all these speculations. So I think it's really smart to do an Undercover Boss edition and just see who is a loyal foot soldier.
I like that idea, though, of a mob boss going undercover, seeing what the guys are actually saying about him, but also too, and making the strongest one who's actually faithful to him be the one who winds up with him. That's what I'm saying, the one that is actually going to be faithful to him, and loyal to him. And I actually introduced Brandy to this a couple of months back, And she said, I can say that I never imagined Heath Ledger as the Joker until I saw it in action. Same here as well, because I saw him in 10 Things I Hate About You. I saw him in A Knight's Tale and stuff like that. And never thought that he would actually go this route of the killing joke kind of style of Joker. But I do want to go on ahead and talk about some of the other stuff, though, too, aside from Joker, because I thought all the other stuff was just as good as Joker, to be honest with you. And also, too, before I actually move a little bit, I also want to talk about the fact this is more of your anarchy Joker versus your other type of Joker. But, you know, another thing I liked was how Bruce is still trying to rebuild the mansion after it being burnt down. So it's not like all of a sudden the thing is built right back up again. He's building it brick by brick, just like he said he was going to do in the very first movie. So I like the fact that they're taking their time with it and not revealing the mansion until the third film. And so that's something that I really liked. And then also, too, I also have to agree with Charlie, though. Once you're in this movie, it doesn't slow down at all. These movies are long, but they don't. They have great pacing. But aside from that, though, I liked how Michael Caine is in this goes into the storage area and in the cargo bay. And all of a sudden, you see this secret passage, and it just goes. Then all of a sudden, the elevator just drops to the floor, and there's the Batmobile. There's the Charlie's Batmobile. There's also, of course, the bat suits and stuff like that too. And then, of course, you know, Bruce is all banged up and bruised up. He goes, "What happened to you, dogs?" And he winds up saying, "Dogs,
big dogs,
big dogs."
Big dogs.
Like I said, in the first one, the settlement of the humor works with these films. They're not over the top. They're just enough to make you laugh. But also, too, the other thing I liked was how much of the stuff that they gave Morgan Freeman to do as well. Because he was able to go into Japan or China to go undercover and put the infrared stuff in there to where he can actually get the layout of it. Of the I love the sonar stuff, but I'll let you guys go on ahead and geek out a little bit more on this too.
Like I just love that it's in a storage, like it's like in like a warehouse crate. Like, that's where the base is. I just love that, and you always see it's just nothing but white. It's like it's like a white, everything's white, which is funny because he's the Dark Knight, not the White Knight. So I think, and I guess it could be a metaphor because he's trying to give it over to Harvey Dent, who they call him the White Knight in a sense. Like, yeah, I mean, but I think like I just gotta say the visuals. Like again, I had this in 4K. I had like in the Dark Knight for like, and it's been I never watched it until last night. OMG, the visuals are absolutely like crystal clear. Like it's beautiful looking. Like it's definitely like a much improved over the Blu-ray. And I was like, whoa. And then I'm currently watching The Dark Knight Rises now. Just as good, if not better, in terms of visuals. And it's like, I'm like, whoa. But yeah, the scene, everything crystal clear and stuff is just really, really well. And then the scene, Morgan Freeman in that more expanded role, and he's like, I need a new suit. What's it like? And then he shows him the suit. I'm like, well, that's the like. Well, we can't have everything because he wants something more like to protect it against the more mobility and protect against dogs. But yet that means he's more vulnerable to knife stab wounds and gunshots. But you can see, and then like the whole sequence when they're in China. Well, I did like how the whole dinner date sequence with Harvey Dent and Rachel, and pretty much they talk about going to this ballet, and Bruce buys the ballet just to get there, and then Rachel's looking like, like she just knows exactly what's going on. It's like, well, Harvey, like it's saying, well, Rachel's told me everything about you. Like, well, I certainly hope not. And this reminds me of the one I think group called Evil Iguana did it on YouTube. They did like trailer reaction spoofs. So they spoofed the Dark Knight Rises, like the Dark Knight trailer, and the one sequence like where he's like, Bruce, this is Harvey Dent. Well, Rachel told me everything about you. Like, well, if that's the case, I'm just gonna have to kill you both. Like, it's just a funny joke. It's just like it's just a spoof the whole Dark Knight trailer. So they just added their own little little like riff on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were still on YouTube, but they made some really funny trailer reactions. This trailer reaction was hysterical. Was like, well, that's the case. I'm going to kill you both. But
And
and then that whole sequence in like Japan, Tokyo. I'm sorry, I forgot where they were, but that sequence where you see him on top of like this tallest building, and you see him moving his neck around, like when he's putting that mask on. That scene was so cool to see. Like it's like when you're just watching it now, it feels like you're watching it for the first time because you know what's going to happen, but to see him jump off and then fly or glide into that building to get Mr. Chen or whatever the heck the guy's name is, or the guy that just gets burnt. The accountant, the accountant.
Yeah.
But to see that whole sequence was awesome. But the sonar part, that was really cool tech.
Yeah, the sonar stuff to me represented the best part of Batman, to be honest with you. It kind of felt like Arkham, playing the Arkham video games and also to reading the comics. That was like some of the best things that I liked about the visuals on that. And then also too, seeing wow, he goes on ahead because I'm very good with number and calculation. And I liked how Joker winds up pointing him out though too, because I know a squealer when I see one. And he's a squealer. And he's like, then all of a sudden you see Lau all pissed off and he just shuts the TV off because meeting's adjourned. So
he literally does this.
Yes.
And of course he winds up
right.
Exactly.
You can't you can track cell phones, like it's pretty obvious.
Yeah. Like I said, Joker, now that I'm looking at it for the umpteenth time, I see him as a psychologist. Because he can point out, he's like, that guy's a squealer. I can tell. Yeah, because he's around people long enough, I believe, to just study their behaviors and to see how I can make this person tick. You know, like later on in the movie where he kind of gave Harvey a push, you know, into his anarchist world. And he knew the things to say to Harvey to make him tick. You know, and then also what was really cool to me, and I don't know why now I'm seeing this as a study of human behavior. The Dark Knight now to me is like a study of human behavior. When the ferry boats and they had the prisoners versus just the citizens on the ferry boats. And it was so intense because you were like, who is going to off who? You know, and the Joker just kind of plants devices and he leaves it up to you to make the choice, or you know, are you going to create anarchy? Well, he creates anarchy, but he just plants it, and then it's up to the person to take it and go with it. But I thought that was really a genius scene, just to have prisoners versus citizens on a ferry boat. Who is going to push that button? It was really intense, and
that's what I liked.
Expect that outcome at all. That nobody pushed the button.
Yeah, he called it the epic social experiment.
Yeah, and psychology.
Yeah. Well, that also explains how we got Harley to be on her dark side, though. Too. That also explains how she was able to do Harley in the comics. For example, getting into her psyche.
Yeah, he can get into people's psyche.
I kind of wanted Harley to see what Harley looked like in Nolan's universe because I think that would have been really good. It's a shame that Heath died because I wanted to see more of him. That's why they didn't kill him. They left it open because when Batman saved him at the end, when he's like hung up, like he left him there because he's like, I don't want to kill you. This is too much fun. So like that. But the whole social experiment thing was just like that. But the other part too, like how he doesn't trust anybody but himself. Hence where he loaded himself with bombs or grenades, and he's like just taunting them. Well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pull it. And I mean, it's just like and how nobody believed him. And I'm like, yep, we gotta call the clown. And then that one brief moment, you see him without the face paint, and that was in the sequence where the sniper sequence where when Gordon died. But when you see him briefly without the face, and you see the actual scars on his face, like he's like that was the one time the whole movie you don't see him without the.
True. I like that though.
Yeah,
I like that fact that they gave us a glimpse of Joker without the makeup to make him blend into society. and to where everybody knows him as just a clown, but they don't know him outside that makeup, which makes him even more scarier than anything too. That's something that I really liked. I also want to talk about Harvey Dent though too, because I thought that the actor that they chose to have him play Harvey Dent did a really good job of it. Yeah, he did a very good job at playing the DA. I definitely liked how he was getting on Bruce's level and everything too. Whenever Bruce got snarky with him, he got snarky back with Bruce. So you have a Harvey Dent that doesn't take kindly to how Bruce treats him, but then there's some common level. Whenever Bruce winds up throwing that little party for him, he goes, "You know what? I used to not believe in Harvey Dent. Believe in Harvey Dent on the TV." But that was until Rachel made me meet you. That's whenever I knew I could believe in Harvey Dent. And, at first you're thinking this is just him doing a whole bunch of BS and everything, but you can tell that he's sacrificing his feelings and putting that aside for his friend and the person that he falls in love with. Because as this is actually being played out, he walks out. Of course, he looks like he's happy because of the fact he walks out with these bunch of women and everything off the helicopter, which makes it funny. But then you see this whole entire element change where he winds up going out on the balcony. He dumps the champagne, and you can tell just like those little moments that he's really sad about it. But he tells her, she goes, "I can't. You may believe that crap that Harvey may believe that crap that you're telling him, but I don't." And he said, "No, I'm being serious. There's going to be a time when where Gotham doesn't need Batman, and it's now." He's thinking that Rachel's going to be with him. But on the other hand, though, too, he's also thinking, too, that she's not going to be with me. He's playing, basically, it's complicated in a sense where one part of his brain is like, you know what, I think I still have a chance with Rachel, so I'm going to sacrifice everything for her to be with her and also sacrifice my identity so that way it can protect Gotham, but also, too, it might land me a chance to be with her, though, at the same time. And then there's also the other side where it's like, I don't have a chance to be with Rachel anymore because of the fact that she's now with Harvey, and I need to move on and also to do what's right for the person that I love versus being selfish and stuff. So that's something that I really liked about that.
It made me think. Sorry, Charlie. It made me think too. You know how Harvey was asking Alfred, "Does Rachel have any crazy ex-boyfriends I should know about?" And he's like, "You have no idea." It made me think, did they briefly date? Like right after Batman Begins, did they briefly date or anything?
I don't think they did because Rachel, they looked like they were until Rachel says, "Then I found out your mask."
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think because when they kissed, it looked like they were dating, and then she had to like go on and play the whole, "But you're Batman, and I can't do that." Like she had to play that card. So I don't think they ever dated. They were just friends.
But in Alfred's eyes, though, they dated because he wants a love interest for Bruce so he can stop fighting. So I'm thinking in the lenses of Alfred, he sees them as a couple versus them not being a couple. That's just the way I view it.
I didn't see that. I just know she was playing him. She kept him on the whole time. But to go the movie about psychology, we also have the element of corruption. And how deep the pockets go, and about how deep is your psyche in order to go corrupt. That's the whole story, because there's a lot of corruption and a lot of who can you trust. And that's the whole idea, the whole things that mess up your mind, because you can't trust anybody in this one but Batman and Gordon. They're really the only two. And that whole sequence with leading up to the diner of the judge, she getting the card of the Joker card, and she's like, "Nothing." The Commissioner Loeb, the sequence where like, "Oh, he's the next target." Like you don't know what's gonna happen. He's like, "Oh yeah, take this note. You're gonna tell you where you're gonna go." Up. Blows up. Like that scene leading up to the dinner sequence where where Rachel's like, "Bruce, what the hell are you doing?" And he's like, "They're coming for him." And I'm like, how does Bruce know that? Because they're not at any point did you know that they're going to get him at that party, and that And then when they see Bruce, and then Bruce going in, like he like, hey, pretty boy, what's up? Like the guy's like, you want like the one guy that he just punches and he just manhandles the shotgun. Hey, pretty boy, like where do you think you're going? And Bruce just punches him like instant down. And then you see the two groups like, hey, Bruce, you got a safe house in there? And you see the two people you saw them do it, and then Bruce goes in the secret location, and then I'm like, how does he have these secret locations? And like, because I'm like, and he's suddenly Batman. I'm like, does he have like various suits like everywhere just in case? Kind of like
probably.
Yeah.
Probably. And then he just shows up and he goes, like, and then the whole sequence with Rachel, he goes, you got fight in you. I like that. Then you're gonna love me. And then this Batman just randomly shows up in front of the public, starts beating up people. Like it's just so random, but yet that this movie's just like every moment. There's action sequences, and then that whole line, "Let her go." Ooh, poor choice of words. Like just him dropping her. Like,
yeah.
I definitely like those action sequences and things like that too. I mean, you can't go wrong with the fight choreography either, because the fight choreography to me for this one looked a whole lot fresher than it did in the Begins. Because, like I said, the suit looked kind of stiff. This one, like you said, he had more mobility with the cowl this time, it seemed like. So that's something that I have to say that I really liked about that. And then, of course, I also like the fact that we also see Scarecrow in this movie as well.
Just briefly,
briefly. Yeah. But I like the fact that he's still out of, outside of Arkham. He's like, not from my diagnosis. That's my other favorite line that he actually does. But I do have a little bit of a word from our sponsor that we have to get to. As a matter of fact, you wouldn't be leaving scars on your face or telling different stories if you actually went on ahead and got yourself a Manscaped 4.0. But, it is what it is. Joker has scars. You don't want to have scars on your balls, so you want to shave with the best, with the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right. The 4.0 Manscaped, the leader in the grooming, have done it again. To make your grooming game next level, join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, the World Performance Package 4.0, by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code MovieLoversUnite. And I promise you this, you won't be sitting in an emergency room in Gotham City explaining why you cut yourself with the wrong tools and asking how did you get these scars on your balls. But the Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived, and oh man, is it worth it. Inside the package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, weed whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, crop preserver, ball deodorant, crop reviver, toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. And everybody's going to be wondering where you get that fancy utility belt. You can just tell them Manscaped got that for you. First off, the new Performance Package 4.0 includes the new Lawnmower 4.0. The trimmer is insane, and I dare I say grateful for ball trimming. Yeah, I said it. It's even perfect in Gotham. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge somatic blade for reduced grooming accidents. Thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology, the Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multifunction on and off switch that can engage to a travel lock, and gives you the ability to turn the 4,000 LED spotlight on and off when needed, all the way down to the promised land. For a promised precise shave. Oh, did I mention that this trimmer is waterproof too? So it's perfect for going spelunking in the cave as well. So you can shave all the way down to your promised land with the waterproof tool. You thought that was good, but want to take your grooming even further to the next level, Charlie? The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds up to top in your nose and ears. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor, powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system. Also, too, I would also recommend getting you guys a Manscaped shampoo, body wash, and also, too, the conditioner as well. I'll tell you what, I never want to go on ahead and get out of my fiance's shower at all because I just feel fresh and so clean everywhere. And I'm just having a good time just scrubbing down, smelling good, and smelling fresh and so clean, as Outcast would say. But seal the deal with Manscaped liquid and formulation, their crop preserver ball deodorant for before leaving the house, a crop reviver ball toner, and mid-game ball check. Trust me when I say, fellas, your balls will thank you. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0. The Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag bring your comfort and boxers to another level. Feel like Bruce Wayne waking up and at his penthouse on The Dark Knight and just imagining him standing out in Gotham with his boxers on and goes, I have some clean shaved balls, thanks to Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code MovieLoversUnite at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code MovieLoversUnite at manscaped.com. Your balls have been through enough past year and through Gotham. Treat them with the best tools for the job from Manscaped. And now we're back to our regular schedule.
No, if they ended up in the hospital, they would. If it's Gotham generally, either be dead because it gets blown up, or captured and turned into a decoy.
Well, you still get your Manscaped. You still get fresh balls. So you're still good. You'll be dying in weakness.
Your balls are, I don't know.
Anyways, going back to the action sequences, I think the two big set pieces are the Harvey Dent capture sequence where they have the whole that whole sequence was filmed in IMAX, and that one was such a cool scene where you see the Joker is trying to like take over or whatever, or the decoy trap, and then you see Joker using all types of weapons. And like, where does he get all those toys? It's kind of like Batman. Like, so Batman, he's got pistols. It's not freaking. He's gonna need something bigger than that. It's a bazooka, and he's like, he has that. And then you see, I think the cool part I love the most is how Batman was able to like jump the car, like how he was like, it's a freaking tank jumping over the other car to take the bullet, to take the bazooka bullet. And then, but that part I loved, again, I love the tumbler, how it turned into the Bat Pod, that motorcycle, that was cool. How it wasn't just a randomness, it actually transformed from the tumbler to the Bat Pod, and that motorcycle of his was just awesome.
It was, to be honest with you, man. Like, I remember seeing that in theaters and just geeking out over it. And then it actually makes sense about how it transforms to the pod and everything, too. And I like how those kids are just randomly in the tunnel, like, acting like they're like, you know, we do this as kids and everything, too. And then all of a sudden they see the Batman go it and goes full speed in the pod. And then also, too, him blasting through the mall and everything, too, was good. Another thing I like, you're talking about realism here, right? What I liked about this was they didn't use any Hans Zimmer scoring in this scene at all. It was like there's no it was just straight up action. It was giving you the scenes and the layouts that you need. It makes it feel also real because of the fact you're not going to have background noise or whatever when you're going through glass and through mall or anything like that. So that's something that I really liked, was the realism within that scene, to be honest.
And then the cops leaving our experience.
Yeah.
That's not good. Okay, that's not good. When they see the helicopter crash, and then, or the scene when the motorcycle going under, it was like, he missed us. And then you see the truck flip, like, that was no CGI. That looked real. And that, I mean, again, it just adds more to the quality of the experience we get with The Dark Knight. You get a real, like, you're getting real, and you're also getting well shot, like, sequences. And that sequence was just phenomenal to see.
Yeah, going back to just the Joker's entrance, into the party. I mean, the Harvey Dent fundraiser party. I think it was either you or John that told me nobody saw what Heath Ledger looked like until that scene.
Charlie.
Was it Charlie?
No, yeah. I said it was during the May after Commissioner Loeb's death, about how he was with the snipers, about how he infiltrated the snipers, and you see him briefly, you see him run off because everybody has the same type of face as his, and then you see him take the shot. It was after that sequence where you see his face.
No, I mean, like, on set. Did anybody, the scene where he's just walking into the Harvey Dent's fundraiser party?
I think there was like whenever they first see him, I think that was actually the first response that they got. I think when Michael Keane saw him, if I'm not mistaken, when Michael Keane first sees him, he's horrified. That's actually his real reaction.
Yeah, because that's like his, introduction to the public, I guess. And it's just silent, and there's glass breaking, and there's gasping, and he's just walking in, just like, have you seen Harvey Dent? Have you seen him? Have you seen him? And he's like moving his mouth, and then the old guy like, we're not afraid of you. And then Rachel pops up. But I brought that scene up too because you when Batman comes in, you also see some of the Joker's street fighting because he has a blade in his shoe and he's fighting dirty. And it just recalls like one of the mythos that he was a former gangster to me. That's just one of the mythos of who he was. But I see the street fighting style. Like, yeah, the Joker is he's like, chaotic and whatever, but he also can fight. He can fight, he can go toe to toe with you if he wants to. So
Right.
yeah.
That's something that I like though too. That now that you mentioned this fighting part,
Mhm.
especially when Joker gets out of the truck that he's in, he goes and he just starts getting pissed off because of the fact that Batman winded up knocking him over in the truck, and he gets out. Like, hit me, just hit me.
Oh yeah.
And then I liked him with the Tommy gun and everything, and he just has that smiling, that evil smile on his face, and then all of a sudden he winds up acting like, and of course, Batman actually thinks that, makes him think that Joker shoots him.
Mhm.
And I liked how he also puts like a little electric shock thing around his neck to actually get Joker not to look at his true identity.
Mhm.
So I thought that was actually pretty cool. And then when he's hopping over his body, that was funny. And also too, there's actually a Photoshop image of this that came out where he was actually on a skateboard hopping over him on a skateboard.
I saw that. I
I
remember
don't
that.
think that was Photoshop. I think that was actually him.
Yeah, he
Really?
was skateboarding. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that was Photoshop. I think that was actually him
Mhm.
doing it. I don't think that was that was on the same set. So I think it
Yeah.
was really him.
Like
Okay.
in between sets, like
Yeah.
downtime, he was skateboarding, doing
Yeah.
tricks.
But if they put that in there, that would have been hilarious. But that also goes against the realism part.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think the one character I really hated was that the white guy Reese, the one that was like trying to
Oh
like
yeah.
the scene I loved the most. It was when he's talking to Lucius. He's telling him like, okay,
Oh, yeah.
what have you built for them now? Like a rocket ship or whatever. So I want $10 million for the rest of my life. And Morgan Freeman is just keeping a straight face and takes the glasses off. So you believe my coworker, my the owner of this place does at his day at night, he beats people to a pulp. And your solution is to blackmail this person?
Mhm.
Good luck.
Love
Like,
it.
and he just got up and ran like a little bitch that he is.
Mhm.
And then he went, "Oh, I'm going on TV."
Mhm.
What do you think? And like, if like, well, I don't want this guy to ruin all my fun. So if the next caller, like, if Mr. Reese isn't killed in 60 minutes, I will blow up a hospital. And
Mhm.
yet, that you really think he's going to do it if it's somebody's actually trying to kill Reese? And I was like, yep, but that the whole hospital sequence, him wearing the nurse's outfit, that's like,
Mhm.
that's him. Hi.
Hi.
And then the sequence where he tries to,
Ooh,
the
that's the
sequence where
most
he
ugly
tries to
nurse
blow
I
up the hospital when it just doesn't work.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not supposed to be funny, but it kind of is. It's just like
Yeah.
it's
As
not
improv,
working, and then
right?
it does.
That didn't go off, right? There was a delay in the explosions, right?
Yeah, it was a delay in the explosions, and Heath was just over there just goofing off, like
Mhm.
how the Joker was, and they just kept on filming it. So
Mhm.
when he's doing like this, and also too, and he goes, and then all of a sudden he starts walking off afterwards. He's like,
And he gets scared
Right.
once he sees the explosion. He's like, he jumps and like, okay, I gotta get out of here. But
Yeah, then he
I
goes
love-
in a bus full of children, right?
yeah, he gets in the bus where the other hospital members are, and then the other part I liked was the little humor by Michael Kane was when Bruce Wayne figures out who it is, who like that, and he goes, would be the Bat Pod then? Middle of the day offer, not very subtle. Lamborghini then, very subtle, and you see him drive the Lamborghini and how he was able to stop. Was like, who was in there? Like, I don't know. Do you watch a lot of like? What should I go to the hospital? You don't watch a lot of news, do you, Mr. Wayne? But it's just like, why? Who was in there? And he sees Reese and he stares at him, and Reese is like, okay, I need to back off. But
Mhm.
but the one scene I gotta go back to is that
Mhm.
after the interrogation scene, as soon as you see Batman confront a Joker, smacks his face down on the face. He's like, "Ooh, don't want to mess up don't want to smack your face and messes up the mind." So
Mhm.
again, the psychology aspect, but that interrogation sequence, like just that whole interrogation to the chase sequence, how it all was set up, how that just worked perfectly to the I just want my phone call.
Mhm.
Like, do you want to know which one of your friends were cowards? Like, it's just the way he gets into the guy's mind to beat him up. And then, yeah, just again, that whole, but the chase sequence to save Harvey or Rachel, that was the most intense portion of the whole movie for me.
Yeah.
That sequence.
And jumping off what you were saying too, Charlie, I think too, the Joker got inside Batman's mind. Yeah, with Rachel.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you're pursuing Rachel too. Does Harvey know about this? And it just made him more upset that he just got out of character and just start welling on the guy.
He takes the chair and puts it up against the wall, the interrogation
like,
room in the door.
Teeth around like a rag doll.
He goes, now we're talking. Now it's a party. Essentially, he was excited for this, but he's going to get beat up. He's like, I don't want to kill you. You're just too much fun.
Yeah.
It just shows you.
He explains the psychology well. He's like, there's no corruption in you, and you're just incorruptible.
And that was his one rule that he said he was going to break.
Yeah, and he's like, without you, there is no me. And that's the whole relationship with Joker and Batman in one sentence. Without you, there is no me. There's order in their
Batman's love interest, so the two of them can be together. Hence the
so
poster.
Sweet. Right. And Valentine's Day was yesterday. That was so sweet of him.
You're welcome. I'm glad that I made that. Let me throw this up here just in case anybody's wondering, because we do have the poster actually covered up, but
this is not a real poster. So if anyone's like, "Can I get that poster?" Yeah, no, this isn't real. It's not
looking at each other. He's like, I just want to spend time with you, Batman.
I don't want to.
Well, I do. You make me want you more.
Word, the quote Deadpool: "The greatest love story always starts with a murder."
Right.
And he did. And then and you see Harvey's Harvey's face.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That was horrifying.
It is,
to be honest.
I think they got it dead on though. Like they were very realistic with it, and that's legit. Like that one was. I think they nailed it too. They nailed the costumes. They nailed everything in this movie.
And the coin too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's something I wanted to dive into real quick, if you don't mind, Charlie.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so the coined aspect, because it shows the neatness of how he is as a DA. It shows how he is as a DA attorney, defense attorney, and also too how clean he is. Once that coin turns, the coin winds up also turning with Harvey as well to show the corruptness of how he's going to be now, the change of his character, everything, and also too. This is also where he makes the rules up. If heads you live, tails you die. And Joker also says, so what rules are you playing with? Mm-hmm. And so that's whenever he does the coin. But also, too, he goes, you think I got a plan? I'm like a dog chasing cars. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite line out of the movie, though, too. Mm-hmm. But, this movie's a blast, to be honest. But I also like how they cover up Two-Face's face with the little gauze to actually not reveal it. And they know that we're wanting to see it revealed. So it's like going to see a concert and they have it sectioned off to where you don't see the main band because they know that's what we're after. And basically they have that curtain over it, and seeing Two-Face's face being covered and not being revealed yet. That was that was great, a great tease, to be honest.
He also teases further with Gordon. Like, Gordon is the only one that can see it. So we're looking at Gordon's face like, ooh, it must be real bad. And he's like, and then when it pans back to him, he turns to his other side, and you're like, I want to see it already. You know?
I mean, the one kill Harvey that he does that was like so good, like you're not expected, is like when he's in the car with Eric Roberts. He's the guy that played the guy with like the blonde guy or whatever, the actor Eric Roberts. He goes, "You're safe," and he puts a seatbelt on, but your driver isn't, and he shoots the driver and the car crashes. Like that one, that was probably like the one kill I actually kind of liked in that one was like because it was unexpected.
Uh-huh.
But I really wanted him to get Ramirez. Like I did not want her to live because of how corrupt she was.
Yeah.
It got me early and like so. You listen, like your corruption got the better of you, and well, I mean, you should thank her because she got rid of Rachel, which is that was
she was in the way of the love story.
Yeah, it was getting too much. Yeah, I was like, okay, no, like she was like, yeah, she thought she was so smart and that. I'm like, I guess she couldn't wait for her life to be over. Then I guess.
Yeah, she was ready to go. She was like, okay, listen, Harvey. Like she was just prepared. Like, okay, I know I'm gonna die.
Okay, and then she died mid-sentence. She blew up mid-sentence. Like I'm like, and it's like you knew it was coming, but it's another one of those jump moments. It makes you jump. Like, whoa! Like just the mid-sentence blow up, and I mean, it's just again, and then the ending portion, like that whole like him trying to save everybody, and then the I do want to mention that one tech that they do, like where he shoots the explosives and then it is randomly like random helicopter picks him up randomly, like Skyjet or whatever the heck it was called. That thing was cool, and to see him do it almost at the end, where he just kicked the officers down. He didn't kill them; he just beat up the SWAT like they're nothing.
It was pretty awesome. Yeah, all the tech here, all the tech within these movies, they just get more advanced, like the sonar tech with the cell phone, and also when he kidnapped Lau and he strapped him onto some type of harness. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah. I think I forgot the name of the Skyjet thing.
Yeah, and then I was like, what are we waiting for? And then I saw him pick him up. I was like, whoa, oh my gosh. Everything just is times 10 with the tech, and it makes you want that type of tech. Like, where can I get this stuff? I don't have the money, but it would be nice to have it. Is it military tech? What kind of tech is this?
It's Wayne Tech.
Okay. Right. I'm sorry.
I guess I don't know. I don't think it's Wayne Tech.
I asked too many questions. Too many questions.
We don't know a lot of stuff. Lucius Fox has that like they like it has that like background like where he knows all these connections and how like he's able to make, and then how Batman turned the sonar into like it was kind of creepy because you spy on every cell phone.
Yeah,
but it needed to be done.
It was the only way, and like Lucius said, is unethical, and it also now reminds me of Civil War. I don't mean to jump Marvel to DC, but it does.
I did earlier Deadpool, so we're good.
Okay. It does remind me of Civil War, where they were targeting citizens, I guess, to kind of like a minority report type of thing to see who was infiltrated in Hydra or something like that. But the technology they have, and just how not technology, but just how privacy could be infiltrated by the government. Like,
I think it's Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Winter Soldier. That's right.
Yeah,
Winter
with the ships targeting like all the people that are like going to be like a threat to Hydra.
Yes. Thanks, Charlie. Yeah. It's like Winter Soldier. That's what the tech reminds me of too, with just spying on everyone's cell phones. Like, just you start to see this invasion of citizen privacy. Like is it a Patriot Act? Not to get too political or anything, but it just,
I think it's the Patriot Act.
Yeah, it just kind of reminds me of all these messages that are coming through in The Dark Knight. Like you talked about corruption, and Harvey was telling Gordon, you have so much corruption around you, and Gordon's like, it's hard to find good men. What do you want me to say? And he's just pointing out, like, you got this corruption, you got that. I can't trust your people, blah, blah, blah. So corruption is like just one of the top themes in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, and then also too, once we get into like the very ending of it, like when Lucius winds up telling him, hey, look, I just want to let you know, after we do this, I'm done. I'm like, oh my God, are we not going to see Morgan Freeman in a third film? Because that's where my mind went to. And then goes, sign your name. I'm like, okay, I will. Just you know.
Well, that's not
But
like that's. Sorry, John. I was about to say that smile of his at the end. You kind of knew he was going to come back because his technology is destroyed. That's like that's that smirk of his, like that smile after he typed in his name for the sonar tech. You see that little smile and he walks away. Like, I mean, come on. There's gonna be you knew there was gonna be like at the time. I think that I knew there was gonna be a third movie. Well, I guess the way it ended, it leads to a third in a sense because we want to know what happens, and then literally the third one picks up like not right away, but 8 years later. And you
but I
just
thought,
knew, yeah, go ahead.
but no, I liked how they ended it with Harvey, the way that they did it, and then they have to go ahead and try and hunt Batman down and everything, so that he can sacrifice his own self-being to protect Gotham. And at first I was confused by it, just like Gordon's son, and then as I'm watching this again, I'm like, okay, so it makes sense because of the fact he's sacrificing himself for the good of Gotham. And it's not the hero that they need right now, but soon it will be the hero that they need. Everything. So I definitely like that. But overall, this film is fun. And also, too, I remember seeing this twice in theaters. Like I said, the first time I was actually with one of my friends and his date. I was actually a third wheel on that one. Then second time, I saw this with someone I was dating at the time. And the funny thing is, was this. I bought the ticket. Then we were going to go see it. Then a bunch of fire trucks are outside. Something happened with the fire alarms. And then they're like, well, guess what? You have tickets on us. Like, okay. So it was like two things that happened. Number one, I bought the tickets, was going to buy the tickets. Then after that, someone I knew that worked in the theater got me some free tickets. And the other incident that happened on that same night with the trucks, with the fire trucks, everything, there's like, well, something happened with the fire alarms and we were inspecting it, but here's some free tickets and you guys come back in a little bit and we'll go in and show the movie. So I got to see Batman on The Dark Knight for free. So that was actually pretty cool. But still, I love this movie. This movie is hands down one of my favorite Christopher Nolan films. I actually have this ranked at number 1 and Batman Begins as number 2 right now, but I have to go on ahead and watch The Dark Knight Rises tomorrow and find out where I do my where The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. But yeah, that's how I feel right now.
That's where I have mine ranked. This is definitely the best one out of the Nolan trilogy. I got Batman Begins 2. I have Dark Knight Rises 3, but it's close. I have it like off by like 0.5. I'm like I rated an 8.5. It's good. For me, it's good. It's entertaining. I mean, from like that, I love the Catwoman character. Like I was talking earlier, John, like the sequence where she does the cartwheel while she's in the prison. He's like, "Hey, pretty lady, you want to?" Like it's like saying, "Oh, is that a hands for me?" She does the cartwheel and she breaks the guy's hand while she does the cartwheel. Like Anne Hathaway just had that snarky attitude, and that for me, that just relate that's why it worked for me. Just the way and in her fighting style. She can use guns, and then when Batman like tells her you can't use guns, no killing, where's the fun in that? And then she just starts beating up more people. Like it's just her attitude and her charisma for the character just really sells me on it because it's not she's a cat burglar, but then again she kind of isn't because she's like and you see more of her back history in a sense. For me, I think that's like that. But this movie is just great. It just is like. I'm so glad I got to see it opening weekend. Like I said, I was part of history. $218 million opening weekend, which for me, that was really cool because that's the first time I've seen something make that much money in an opening weekend for 2008. And then 4 years later, I worked at a theater and I saw Dark Knight Rises like many times from working. And it's unfortunate when we had the Chicago situation with that movie. That was. I think that was unfortunate. And then again, I think that's when rules start changing about what you can and couldn't wear because you knew people were going to wear costumes, but and that's when the things changed. But I mean, I think that's probably why that there's a lot of like there's just a lot against that movie that like from like situational awareness of what happened with that impacted the movie to it not. Because the hype of this one, then going into The Dark Knight Rises, that led into it too. For me, it worked. It was it ended what it didn't continue on. Like it didn't make a fourth one with the same cast because it didn't need to. It finished the story that Nolan wanted to do, and that's what I really appreciate. But this one's just great, visually stunning, awesome sequences. Like it's just a great movie.
I was gonna ask you too, because I meant to earlier on. You know, when Harvey steps up and they're like, well, where's the Batman? He needs to reveal himself at the press conference. And then he was like, all right, boys, arrest Batman. And then Wayne, Bruce, is trying to step up a little bit, but then Harvey says, I'm the Batman. Like, do you think that Bruce should have just exerted himself more and was like, no, I'm the Batman? You know, would that have been just too crazy? Like nobody would have believed him.
I don't know. That's an interesting, like, because I know, like, you see the scene. Then I think it's just Aaron Eckhart's character, because I think he told the Batman, like, don't do this, like, don't, like when he was confronting that one guy where he's playing Russian roulette with him, like, yeah, when he's playing with him, Batman's like, I'm done, and I think Bruce was about to, but Harvey's just like the flamboyancy of him, like the pretty boy, flamboyant. He was being too flamboyant. It prevented Bruce from saying it, and then Rachel just like, like going against like Bruce. Like, he did, or he's gonna let Harvey do that, and then I don't think anybody was gonna believe Bruce. I think, or then everybody's gonna come out and yell, "I'm Batman!" No, I'm Batman. I think it's
Sparta.
It's gonna be like, I think that could have, like, I mean, that could have been, because that could happen. I don't know. I mean, I think, again, I think it was just Aaron Eckhart's, like, his arrogance and his ego. He had an ego that his face was cashing checks that his body couldn't cash, because he wanted the publicity, he wanted the glitz and the glamour and the glory and everything. He wanted to be like the righteous one, and for doing that, that's what the Joker did. I turned everybody's white knight, because he was the better one of all three of them. And he turned that into the villain. Like he said it himself, either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And he lived long enough to become the villain. So I think he literally foreshadowed himself.
Yeah. And I meant to bring this up too. This is my last point, John. With
you're good.
Two-Face. Yeah, so the Two-Face I was introduced to, as Charlie knows, was Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face. And you see his Two-Face, and it's, I don't know, looking back on it didn't make sense that he lost that essence of like being a lawyer or a DA. You know, it's like a cartoon character. I'm Two-Face. Look at me. You know, and it seems like with Aaron, or what's his name?
Aaron Eckhart.
He kind of kept that sense of a DA, like I'm seeking justice, even when he was corrupt. He's like, I'm seeking justice. And you believed him when he was like, I need to flip this coin, and it decides the fate of justice for me. You know, and just the way it was realistic with his face, like two-faced, you know. It wasn't like plastered on makeup. And I can't remember the behind the scenes of it, but I think, well, I know that was digitally enhanced, just half of his face. But what made it realistic to me, it seems like there were pieces of his face on the pillow. And I don't know if that was like a strategic part on the makeup, but
I like that though.
Yeah, it was like when he turned away from Gordon and then he turned back or whatever, and then you see pieces of his face or the makeup on the pillow. Like it's just those subtle things to me, like the little details that I'm like, oh, it makes it seem like it's very real.
Like someone's face actually got burnt off.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I like those, like you said, I like the makeup and the cosmetics with that, and the little flaky particles to make it resemble the fact that someone burned. Yeah. I like that. The whole entire misconfiguration with the skin and everything was perfect. The eyeball part creeped me out and everything, and I liked it. It was really good. And a matter of fact, I just want to
to see him drink, and you see part of the liquid go down the side. That was really like really creepy, and yet that means they nailed it. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to say that.
Yeah,
that part was like you see the liquid not even go down his throat, it goes down the sides and kind of spills on him a little bit. And he's like, he just shakes it off like he's pissed. He's still holding that gun, like, but that face was just like terrifying and realistic and brutal, and just shows you he went through hell.
It's a vast difference from Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh yeah,
yes, way different. This is the one that I wanted Tommy Lee Jones to actually have the performance of.
Yeah,
not him competing with Jim Carrey. But it is what it is. But what I want to say is this: if anybody is interested in this, in 2008, during the time that The Dark Knight came out, there's actually a comic book called The Joker. And it has the same kind of cosmetics that the Joker actually has. The drawing and the details of it is really good. There's even a thing with Two-Face in it, though, too. And Joker actually calls up Harvey. He goes, Harvey. Which one am I talking to today? Which face am I talking to? And all I can picture is Heath Ledger voice in that sequence. It's like, with voice. And Johnny Frost is also introduced into this world, though, too, which just happens to be the Joker's bodyguard who winds up picking him up from Arkham and everything, because he gets released from Arkham and he goes around killing everybody that took stuff away from him, too. And matter of fact, his bar, I think, is actually owned by Penguin and stuff like that too. You actually have Harley in there. It's been a while since I read it. I actually own it, but it's one of my favorite graphic novels. To be honest with you.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the one I read. And matter of fact, the one that Heath Ledger read for the role for this was The Killing Joke.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was wondering where
one of my
got
friends
the
had told me.
Inspiration from.
So that's where he got the inspiration from, was from the Killing Joke aspect, which you can tell by the whole entire deal of not knowing the origin that he comes from. Because, he could be a comedian, but who says that that's actually where he comes from? It could be a bald-faced lie. So that's another thing.
I just want Charlie to watch The Joker.
Oh, the Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's fantastic. I saw it twice.
You to go full circle, Charlie. I just need you to go full circle.
It might be on my list. I don't know. I'm not a big Joaquin Phoenix fan.
I know you're not, but just go full circle.
I know what happens in it. I read the plot too.
No. Just watch it.
I don't want to watch it really.
Just watch it.
Batman in it. I don't care.
I just want to talk about it.
It does have his father in it. It does have a young Bruce in it.
Yeah, I know about that part. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just, it's not what you know what I was getting at, John. It's no Batman. Like, it's because it's Bruce Wayne. And it's like, okay, Bruce Wayne is a kid, and then he kills the dad. I'm like, yeah, no.
I understand, but when we can just talk about it and just watch it. And it's just,
I think it'd be an interesting take. I did a non-spoiler review with
about it. Can we just talk about it together like this?
Yeah,
you remind me of that Family Guy, like the Family Guy scene from Peter Starr. He's like, Dad, what are you doing? I just want to talk to him. I just want to shoot him. Like that. It's like the guy remembers, like, yeah, that's from Family Guy.
Yeah, I know, because so much Family Guy just oozes from my pores.
No, I'm good. I mean, I'll let you guys review it. I'll let you guys have a good time.
No. I just want to talk about it.
We're in a circle.
I just want your view on it compared to Ledger. That's what I want.
I've seen enough of the trailer.
I just want to talk about it.
I've seen enough from the trailer now. Heath Ledger wins for me.
Okay, Charlie. Maybe one day. But that's my show. That's my show request for you. I just want to do the Joker with you.
Just want a Joker with you. That should be the new title. I just want a Joker with you. A Joker review.
I just want to do the Joker review with you and Charlie. And that's my request.
We'll see what we can do.
Feels new movie. Nope.
Dang,
but anyways,
Which I think is just the version of The Happening, to be honest. It's just his take on The Happening.
Anyway, that's my request. That's my show request.
I'll think about it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. With that being said, Tomeka, we just want to talk to you and find out where everybody can follow you. Just talk to you.
Just want to talk to me. Just want to talk to me. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's Two Blurred Girls. This Friday we're going to do a continuation, or maybe just end Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Because like I said, 64 episodes, and we don't have time for that. But yeah, we're gonna just end Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood this Friday, 9:15 on our YouTube channel, Two Blurred Girls. Don't forget to subscribe. We're also on Facebook under the same name. We are on Twitter at Blurred Two Girls. We're also on Instagram, Two Blurred Girls _podcast. We are also on Twitch, the same name. We have an audio podcast, so subscribe there too. We're on Good Pods, which John will dive deeper into. We're also on Apple. We're on Google. We're on Spotify. Amazon Music. Yeah, I love these guys. They're like Tomeka. Let me help you out. Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Anchor, everywhere podcasts are streaming. So you don't have to write anymore because it's going to take half the whole show. Yes, all major podcast platforms. Thank you, John.
You're very welcome. This is why we're friends.
Just want to talk about it.
Just talk about it. So, guys, you guys go on ahead. Follow me at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Tonight on Facebook, of course, on Instagram and on Pinterest as well. Then, of course, if you guys want to get an audio-only podcast of our episodes, mini episodes that we do here at Movie Lovers Tonight, you guys can get that where you guys get your major podcasts from. Of course, go over to Good Pods, like Tomeka said. Her and I are both on there. You guys can rate individual episodes. It's like social media for podcasters. You can rate individual episodes. You can also comment, and we'll reply back to you and rate individual ones. And, of course, you guys can also go over to Apple Podcasts as well. Rate us over there. Comment. That actually helps people to let other people know where to find us at, though, too. And then also on Spotify as well. And then, of course, you guys can go on ahead. And tomorrow night, I want to mention this. I'm actually going to be we're going to be doing our Dark Knight Rises with Charlie and Alex. That's going to be at 9 o'clock Central Time instead of at 8 o'clock Central Time. Just letting everybody know about that. And it's going to be 10 Eastern Time and 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time. So just going to throw that out there. And then Thursday night, I'm going to be doing my Sydney. Going to be doing Guess Who's Coming to Dinner review with Rossi McFree. And then if you guys want to, go ahead and follow me underneath Movie Lovers Unit on Twitter, Movie Lovers Unit on TikTok, Movie Lovers Unit 0 on TikTok. Then, of course, if you guys want to, go ahead and reach out to me on movieloversunite@gmail.com if you're a sponsor or would like to be on the show. Or if you just want to go ahead and do like a mailbag segment or anything like that, just send in some questions or whatever. Go ahead and shoot some questions our way. And we might actually talk about it on our next episode if we see it redeemable. But that's where you guys can go ahead and follow me on all those places. Of course, go on ahead. We're actually teamed up with Two Blur Girls podcast for Children's St. Jude's Hospital. So go on ahead, drop $5 to $10 for Cincy. All proceeds go over to the Children of St. Jude's Hospital. And of course, you guys can also go on ahead and donate to us at Movie Lovers Night by going to GoFundMe.com/Movie Lovers Podcast. All that is in the descriptions below, so that way you guys don't have to memorize all the stuff that I'm telling you. So that's always good right there. I just want to thank you and Charlie for joining me as always. Tomorrow night, don't forget, 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific Time. Alex will be joining us, Charlie and I, for our Dark Knight Rises review. And this is going to be wrapping up all the Batman rewatch stuff. And then all next week, I'm not going to be on the show, but I think maybe Charlie and Alex might have something going on maybe. You guys just going to have to wait and see. But anyways, Friday night, 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific Time, we're going to be interviewing Dean from Game Day. And you can actually catch that review that Alex and I did on our channel as well. And then, of course, go into the description and rent Game Day. It doesn't cost maybe about $3 to rent. And you guys can go ahead and watch that, and then go in and watch the interview that we're going to do. And that's everywhere that you guys can actually talk to us at and everything. I hope that everybody enjoyed this episode. Can't wait to do this again tomorrow night. Thanks again. Always until next time. Keep safe and